Before the obvious transanity of those like Dylan Mulvaney.
I'm Eloise. I am 6. I'm a city child.
Before what is now sad regret of Jazz Jennings.
I just want to feel like myself. Like, that's it. I don't care. All I want is to be happy and feel like me, and I don't feel like me ever.
You had Chastity Bono. Yes, one of the OGs herself. One of the first transmentals.
And her name is Chastity Bono.
Fine.
You look pretty good.
You get to hear her thoughts. Deep thoughts.
That was me living a life that wasn't me. I wasn't being myself.
Ugh. I'm Jazz Berganzo, and this...
Are you retarded?
...is what's next. Happy Monday, everyone. Jazz Berganzo, what's next? Your daily dose, of course, as always. Facts, common sense, and salt. Hope you guys are doing well today. Well, after the tragedy of this past weekend, especially in Texas, between the shooting at one of the local malls, the migrants, what looks like to be intentionally getting run over by an SUV, and sadly, you have a 6-year-old in one of the local schools who was forced to perform sexual situations. Wow. But hey, the transmentals are still running around. Yes, it's just another day in Y. Another day that ends in Y, excuse me. And of course, we all know about the Dylan Mulvaneys. You know, we all know about those wacky knuckleheads on libs of TikTok. But, oh, can't forget about Jazz. Of course, Jazz is now having regrets. Not surprised. But one of the OGs herself, Chastity Bono, for all you old heads out there, the daughter of Cher and Sonny Bono, yeah, you haven't heard from her much regarding the situations going on in our hospitals and our child mutilations and our, transanity. Well, one of the first transmentals has thoughts. Some say maybe even deep thoughts. Here we go. This comes out of Breitbart. Chastity Bono says turmoil of states bans on transing children feels worse than AIDS. Oh my. And of course, for those of you who haven't seen Chastity Bono lately, this is her now. Yes. She came out in 95 as a lesbian and then decided, well, that wasn't good enough. In 2008, decided, hey, you know what? I'm going transmental. And of course, years later, after hormones and multiple surgeries, this is what you get. Still check. Chastity Bono, the trans daughter of pop star Cher and Sonny Bono, compare states criminalizing sexual mutilation of children to millions of deaths in AIDS. Chastity Bono, born in 1969 to Cher and father Sonny Bono, who came out as a lesbian in 1995, then of course later decided to go transmental in 2008, is alarmed by the recent spat of bills restricting transgenderism in schools among children. It's really scary, Bono told radical gay website Pink News, because of course she cannot just talk to a normal outlet. It's not just the alphabet people. It's Asians. It's African Americans. I am just putting everybody under one umbrella and saying, you know what? The racism is out of control. This is just a rise of hatred I've never seen before and would never expected. I'm 54 now, so I lived through a lot of the turmoil of the alphabet community in the 80s and 90s. Bono said, speaking of the millions who died of AIDS. But I just don't think I've ever felt anything like this. I know it will end eventually because all this kind of stuff always does. But in the meantime, it's hard to go through, Bono exclaimed. I personally just worry about the alphabet people, in particular the youth. Yes, the Utes. Did you say Utes? I hope as adults we can weather the storm, but you think of the kids and the suicide rate. Yes, 4-1 over the national average because of transanity. Being so much higher with the alphabet kids, it's disheartening, the actor added. Actor? Really? Bono's comments came amid the recent laws that are scaling back the radical overreach of the alphabet agenda, especially in schools, including the 22 signing of Florida's education bill, which of course gives parents right on how their children are being taught in schools and not agendas being rammed down their throats, which bans transgender and alphabet political agenda in schools, a move by Kansas legislature to ban trans athletes from playing in school sports as girls, and Montana's recent legislation outlawing trans medical procedures on minors, among many other examples. Bono also explained that some places in the U.S. are unsafe for the gays. I don't think we've taken a full step. I don't think we've taken fully a step backwards, Bono said, adding, I would just encourage especially the young alphabet to know that this is not going to last forever. Just write it out however you can. After appearing on a TV series, Dancing with the Stars in 2011, Bono blasted the show for body shaming. I was called a basketball, a penguin, an Ewok. Well, you are what you are. I just didn't appreciate it. If you want to critique my dancing and give me some constructive advice so I can improve on the next time I'm there, that would be great. But I don't really know how to be less penguish, so I kind of took offense to that. Bono is now appearing as Puppy in the horror film Bury the Bride, now showing on Tubi. There you go, parents. Another show to have your kids avoid. The actor has also been featured in recent films such as Three from Hell, No One Cares, Reborn, No One Cares, Reboot Camp, No One Cares, and an offbeat independent superhero short series, The Guardians of Justice. And again, no one cares. My thoughts. The fact of the matter is that for Chastity Bono to be tight-lipped, quiet about the whole situation of the last 2 to 3 years is stunning to me. You would have thought that one of the OGs, she would have basically came out and said, hey, you know what? Yeah, we got situations going on here I'm not a fan of, but there you go. But listen to the words that she said. She said, ride it out. Weather the storm. This shall pass. Well, it's going to pass only when parents step up and say, enough of this bullshit. It's going to pass when you have more like Matt Walsh step up and continue to say, you know what? Shit needs to stop. Those like you and me who clearly agree that transmentalness is a serious and severe mental issue, i.e. on the borderline of demonism, continue to say this shit needs to stop. So for Chastity Bono to compare this to the AIDS epidemic of the 80s, of course, is just absolutely retarded. AIDS was and still is a majority gay disease. That's facts. It's not opinion, it's facts. And of course, one of the most prominent people in the United States, of course, our own President Joe Dementia, of course, had Elton John standing on stage and basically said, hey, you know, we won't be giving all this money to AIDS if it wasn't for people like you. And with that, I'm Jazz Berganzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share, subscribe to it, hit the notification bell so you guys never miss a thing. And we'll be back for more wackiness. We'll see you next time. Peace.